Did you know that the holy city of Mecca, the heart of Islam, home to the Kaaba and Masjid al-Haram, was once on the brink of being attacked by the Portuguese Empire? Yes. The same Portuguese who once sailed across uncharted oceans, conquering lands and building an empire fueled by greed, glory, and the gospel, almost turned their cannons toward the holiest place on earth. But, alhamdulillah, by the will of God, they failed. In the very last moments before disaster struck, brave Muslim defenders from Mecca and Jeddah, aided by the powerful fleets of the Mamluk Sultanate and the rising Ottoman Empire, stood together and stopped one of the darkest plans in history. This is the untold story of when the Portuguese almost attacked Mecca. A story of faith, courage, and unity, when the heart of Islam beat stronger than any cannon of the West. The 15th century. An age of sails, stars, and ambition. When European kingdoms, hungry for gold, land, and power, began to conquer the seas. They called it the Age of Discovery. But in truth, it was the Age of Conquest. Spain and Portugal stood at the front of this new era, racing to explore, invade, and control the rich lands of Africa, India, and the distant islands of the East. What they discovered were not empty lands, but thriving civilizations, Muslim kingdoms, traders, and scholars who had ruled the oceans long before Europe even dared to dream of crossing them. Among these explorers rose one man, Vasco da Gama. The Portuguese hero who, in 1498, became the first European to sail around the Cape of Good Hope and reach the shores of India. But his journey was not about exploration, it was about domination. Vasco da Gama's fleets attacked small Muslim kingdoms along the Indian coast, burning ships, destroying cities, and claiming the lands in the name of the Portuguese crown. Their goal was clear: to break the Muslim monopoly of spice trade, and to replace it with a Christian empire of the sea. But they soon realized the Indian Ocean was not theirs to claim. It was a Muslim ocean, ruled by powerful merchants from Gujarat, Yemen, Egypt, and the Malay archipelago. And when the Muslims saw the Portuguese ships spreading violence and greed, they knew, this was not trade. This was invasion. Yet the Muslims were not alone. Behind them stood a greater power, the Mamluk Sultanate of Egypt, protector of the holy cities, and the last bastion of the Abbasid Caliphate. But even they were beginning to weaken. The arrival of the Portuguese fleet in the Indian Ocean sent shockwaves through the Muslim world. For centuries, Muslim traders had sailed these waters freely, connecting Africa, Arabia, India, and the Malay lands through commerce, knowledge, and faith. But now, the Portuguese came not to trade, they came to conquer. In 1506, they seized the island of Socotra, off the coast of Yemen, and built a fortress there, blocking the entrance to the Red Sea. Then, in 1515, they captured Hormuz, a vital gateway to the Persian Gulf. By controlling both Socotra and Hormuz, Portugal now held the two keys to the Muslim world's lifeline, the trade routes leading straight to Mecca and Medina. But their ambitions went far beyond trade. In their hearts burned a dangerous dream: to strike at the very center of Islam, to destroy the Kaaba itself, and to turn the holy city of Mecca into ashes. Their mission followed the three symbols of European imperialism: gold, glory, and gospel. They wanted wealth. They wanted fame. And above all, they wanted to spread their faith, even through fire and blood. And deep down, the Portuguese still carried a centuries-old hatred. A hatred born from the days when Muslim Andalusia ruled their lands. Now, with their empire rising, they sought revenge. The Mamluks of Egypt, guardians of the Hijaz and protectors of the two holy mosques, realized the danger was real. If the Portuguese ever entered the Red Sea, Mecca itself would be in peril. So they fortified the port city of Jeddah, the final gate before Mecca. The Mamluk governor, Emir Hussein al-Kurdi, strengthened its walls, built new watchtowers, and lined its shores with cannons. He called for help from the Ottoman fleet in the Levant, commanded by the great admiral Selman Reis. Together, they prepared for a storm unlike any before. The year was 1517. As the season of Hajj began, thousands of pilgrims arrived at the port of Jeddah from India, the Malay world, Sudan, and Egypt, their hearts filled with peace and devotion. But far across the sea, another fleet was approaching. The Portuguese Armada, commanded by Lopo Soares de Albergaria, set sail from Goa, India. Their mission, attack Jeddah, during the pilgrimage season. They planned to strike while Mecca was full of unarmed worshippers. When the first Portuguese cannons thundered near the harbor, panic spread through the city. Smoke filled the sky. But the defenders were ready. The Mamluk and local forces manned the walls. Cannons roared back from Jeddah's towers, their thunder echoing across the Red Sea. And the pilgrims joined in whatever way they could, carrying supplies, aiding the wounded, and praying for victory. Then, from the north, sails appeared on the horizon. It was the Ottoman fleet, 19 warships under Selman Reis, rushing into battle. Together, the Mamluks, Ottomans, and people of Jeddah fought as one. The Red Sea became a storm of fire and faith. Portuguese ships burned and sank beneath the waves. And when their commander saw that the battle was lost, he ordered retreat. The Muslims had done it. They had saved the Red Sea, and protected the path to Mecca. For now, the holy city was safe. But Portugal was not done. Their pride would not allow defeat. 24 years later, in 1541, they returned, stronger than before. This time, the fleet was led by the Portuguese governor of India himself, Estevão da Gama, son of Vasco da Gama. 85 warships filled the horizon, their white sails glinting under the Arabian sun. They raided the ports of the Red Sea, capturing Suakin in Sudan and burning villages along the coast. Their next target, Jeddah. But the world had changed. The Mamluks were gone. The mighty Ottoman Empire now ruled the Hijaz, and Mecca was under the protection of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, master of half the world. In Jeddah, the Ottoman commander Ali Beg prepared his defenses. When word reached Mecca, the city's ruler, Sharif Muhammad Abu Numair II, called for jihad. His call echoed through the streets, from the markets to the mosques. Men answered. The people of Mecca and Jeddah took up arms, ready to defend the house of God once more. The Portuguese landed near a small harbor called Abu al-Dawa'ir, close to Jeddah. But the Ottomans met them head-on. Cannons fired, smoke filled the air, and waves crashed against the burning ships. Under the leadership of Ali Beg and Abu Numair, the Muslim defenders fought with the strength of faith and unity. Once again, the Red Sea turned red with battle. And once again, the Portuguese failed. Defeated, their ships retreated into the open sea. Jeddah stood strong. Mecca was safe. For his courage, Abu Numair received a personal letter of honor from Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, praising his bravery and loyalty to the faith. After their second defeat, the Portuguese never dared to attack Jeddah again. The dream of conquering Mecca vanished into the waves of the Red Sea. By then, the Ottoman Empire had risen to its golden age, its navy led by legendary admirals like Hayreddin Barbarossa, who ruled the Mediterranean with unmatched power. And from Istanbul to the deserts of Arabia, the two holy cities were now safe under Ottoman protection. But this story is more than just a tale of war. It is a story of faith, of how Muslims, despite their differences, stood united to defend what was sacred. It is a reminder that Mecca, the heart of Islam, has always been protected not by walls or cannons alone, but by the unwavering faith of its people. And so, when the cannons of Portugal fell silent, and the sails of their ships disappeared beyond the horizon, Mecca remained, eternal, untouchable, and free. This was the day Mecca almost fell, but didn't. A day when faith stood taller than empires.